You are infinitely loved by an infinite God. Everyone you love is infinitely loved by an infinite God, way more than you could ever love them. And everyone you hate is infinitely loved by an infinite God, way more powerfully than you could ever hate them. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Love Your Unlovable podcast. I am your host, the wildly unlovable, yet infinitely loved Eileen Chevalier. So in 2011, Mike was putting out his album, Mike and Eileen Chapter 1, which was basically the story of our first couple years of marriage. And it was really hard for me. The year before, he started playing songs for me, cried every time. So I think I started processing that. And then in the summer of 2011, I started writing while he was finishing up recording the album. So I'm just going to read an excerpt. This is the beginning of that story. So I labeled my chapters. I gave them the titles of the names or lines from Mike's song. So this line is, "It'd make me weep to fall like rain," which is from the very first song on the Mike and Eileen album. I'm on the way to work, 125th Street, through Harlem, to the A train that will take me to Queens. Streetlights and the pre-dawn brightness of an early December morning provide enough light for me to watch as I walk into the fog of my breath, crossing street after street on the short way across Manhattan. My feet are cozy in my beautiful new boots, but my face is cold. My bones are tired from the early mornings and late nights, and I'm all too sure that today's classes will produce no better results than yesterday's. At least I shouldn't have any mentors coming in to berate me in front of my class about the nonsense work that I did because the last mentor demanded it. It's the all too familiar drone of, "Nope, totally wrong. Throw it out, do it all over in a new way, my way. Who cares that you haven't seen the sun in 2 months? It's winter. Catch up next summer break." What I really want right now is comfort food. Melty cheese and garlic salt with a runny egg yolk soaking into perfectly toasted bread. I should get to Queens early enough to swing in for a bagel at my favorite bodega on the walk from the subway to MS 137. Best way to start any work day. But then I get a funny feeling in my gut. Not the metaphorical one that emanates premonitions, but an actual one that has been plaguing my every waking moment for months. It's been getting progressively worse, and sure enough, today it's horrid. Right there, just as I'm pressing the $1 store where I bought my undoubtedly toxic drinking glasses, within sight of the station stairs, I crap myself. It's not the first time. Rather than panicking, I find myself thankful that I wasn't on the train, or worse, in front of my students. Back to my apartment I turn, a thick warm stream making its way onto my thigh. Another call to the school to let them know that I won't be making it to class today. Sorry for the late notice. Yes, I will try to feel better. Another shower. Another step down into despair. What my doctors didn't tell me, and there's very little they ever did tell me, only half of which was ever even sort of true, was that I was a prime candidate for Clostridium difficile, C. diff. That in fact, I was not just a special kind of nasty that they'd rather not have in their office. Perhaps they didn't realize that I was slowly wasting away from a terrible but treatable condition. Instead of treatment, I received grimaces and inconclusive test results. I was an easy target. Years of strep and a benign condition that masqueraded as strep made me well acquainted with the antibiotic cycle, the diarrhea, the probiotics, the recovery. It also left me with a fragile gut biome. But nobody said those words back then or even thought in those terms. Add to that sleep deprivation, lack of community, and struggling to cope with 6 hours of grad school and a full-time 7th grade special ed teaching position, an hour-and-a-half commute from my apartment. And all it would have taken was the proverbial straw. What I got was an incapacitated gut, an inability to absorb nutrients, and an increasing fear of appearing in public for fear that I would soil myself and nauseate those around me with the stench. I resigned from my job and withdrew from school. A week later, I noticed the mysterious bruises that covered my thighs were fading. I started sleeping all night. I was hopeful that my savings would last long enough for me to get well and find another job, participating in medical studies to buy groceries in the meantime. 2 months later, realizing I wasn't getting any better and couldn't afford my apartment or any more weight loss, I did what any young person would do in their most dire moment. I called my mom. She and my dad came to New York and moved me back home on Valentine's Day.